Hi everyone, it's Gail. Thank you for joining me for the second part of my design team journal project, this series. So today we're going to make the cover. I've already made the cover, but we're going to make another one so I can show you start to finish. So it's going to be one of these old quilt covers, and then I've got some coffee dyed fabric on the inside, and I got this beautiful little lace doily from Happy Mail, and I decided I think I'm going to put that as my first and last page of the journal. So this is what it's going to look like when it's done. We're going to make it today. The other thing that I'm going to do with this one, I decided, is I got this awesome doily, once again in Happy Mail, and I am going to wrap the journal. Wrap it like this, something like that, and then tie a bow around it once it's done. Because this doily is just like the perfect size. So that's fun. I have these little pieces that are left from making the cover. We'll make some tags with those later. And then I also got this in Happy Mail and loved it. And I think we'll use this in the journal somewhere also. So I kind of have all that sitting together. And waiting for that stage of the journal. So that's our goal here, and I am going to get the supplies here on the other table that we need, and we're going to go for it. We're going to do another one so I can show you start to finish. So the base of these journal covers, I use a 9x12 envelope, and I've been asked, couldn't I use cardstock? Couldn't I use file folder? Yes, you can use whatever you want. I like the flexibility of these envelopes. I tend to make my journals fairly chunky, as you know, and I like how they kind of almost wrap around like this. So I really like using the 9x12 envelopes, and the other plus is they're right sized from the get-go. I don't have to cut them or anything. Now the only thing I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and remove the metal. I don't need it. I'm not going to have, I mean, you could have an envelope at the back of your journal or at the front of your journal. You could do that, but I am not going to do that. I'm going to cover it with fabric. So I'm just going to pull this out. Not easy to do generally, but I can usually get it without doing too much damage to the envelope. They're just hooked in with some little teeth, so they come out pretty easily. So that's sort of my first step, and then I am going to, let's see, I'm going to put my fabric here, and I'm going to just give this a little glue and glue down, just glue down the flap so that it's all ready to go. Okay, so now I've got my 9x12. And I will say, one of the nice things about using the 9x12 size is it will take, I don't know that I have a piece of, a normal piece of copy paper. You don't have to cut it at all. You just fold it in half. It's ready to go in your journal because it's going to be 8.5. And then it's 11, so it's 5.5. Because this is 12, when you fold it over, it's 6. So 5.5 is perfect. So that's why I use these envelopes. I just think it's easy. I like the flexibility, and so there you go. Okay, so what I have is an old, I call it my cut apart quilt. It's an old quilt that gosh, I don't know. I think I got this at a friend's swap that my friends and I did. But sometimes you can find old quilts like this at garage sales or estate sales, and they're like, it's raggedy. It's fallen apart. But for a journal cover, it's like, it's perfect for a shabby chic type of journal cover. So what I'm going to do is grab my envelope, and I'm just going to spread this out. And we're going to have some that is left over. That's just going to happen. This is pretty raggedy up here. Now, often what I'll do is take some Fabri-Tac and and get some of these things kind of glued down so they're a little more sturdy, you know. But the bottom part is really good. So I think I'm going to move this one, rather than putting it in the middle like I did my other one. I'm just going to put it down toward the bottom and just avoid some of that more ragged bits. But we'll save that because we'll make a tag out of it. So I think I'm going to turn this because I kind of want to keep, I've got this edge. I was going to cut through that, and then I'm like, yeah, no, I might want to keep that. Okay, so I usually do this on my other table. So my other table has a little more room to maneuver, but that's okay. We'll manage this. Okay, so I'm going to have it about there. So I'm going to cut this, maybe about, I don't know, an inch, 3/4 of an inch from the envelope. Just to have enough room to work. This side I'm going maybe a 1/2 inch just because I want to save as much of that printed fabric as I can for tags or whatever. Okay, now let's see if I can move this without making too much of a adjustment. Okay, I'm hoping you can see all this in camera. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay, so we're kind of centered there, so we'll just go up this side then. So see, I'm just gonna cut this, and then this is a piece that we can make a tag or maybe multiple tags out of. So we'll put that over there. That'll be a project for another day, and we can get rid of this. Okay, so now I am going to go ahead and get rid of a bit of this. We don't need it all. Okay. Actually, that's some good kind of rough stuff. I think I'll keep that. Might want to use that on something. All right, so we've got the cover. So now I want to use this fabric. This is coffee dyed fabric, and I think I want to use it on the inside. So basically we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to cut it a little bit bigger than our envelope. This is a funky piece of fabric that's just all sorts of cut up, but that's okay. We just need a square of it. So I can actually, I think we can use this. It'll be just fine. Okay. Straighten it out a little bit. I'm going to just cut this way first. And I'm leaving a good overhang. We're going to come back and trim that out once we're... Okay, then we can get rid of the big piece and not wrestle with that, and we'll just work with this piece. But yeah, so we'll trim these closer, but for now, I'm going to give myself plenty of room. That way, if for some reason your envelope slides a little or something, you've got room to work with, and you're not gonna have bare envelope showing. Oh my gosh, I almost threw that away. That's not good. That's good snippet material. So we're going to then just give this a trim so it's closer. Okay, awesome. All right, so now we are going to get this kind of glued on with a little Fabri-Tac, which is, now I can see where this has been quilted on this side, and it kind of comes down to a point right here. That's the design. So I want this to be down this way as far as I can. So, okay, so we're just gonna, right in the middle, put a little Fabri-Tac. And this is just to hold it. I was using my double-sided tape, but I ran out and I haven't gotten a new one yet. So I try to just make it as straight as I can. Again, you know, perfection is not the objective here. So, you know, I've got quite a bit here, so I think I'm going to cut off a little strip of this, just so that we don't have quite so much to deal with later. It's thick. It's a thick little old quilt. I always think about on these quilts, you know, who did they cover and what was their story, you know? Okay, look at that fun strip. Yeah, we'll use that for something along the way, maybe on the edge of a page or something. Okay, so there's that side so far. Then we're going to just do the same on this side. Just give it a little Fabri-Tac kind of in the middle. Just enough to hold it steady while we sew. Okay. And then just going to put that on, and I'm just going to smooth it out. I could have ironed it, but you know, I avoid ironing at all costs, whether it be in my junk journals or my clothing. So, okay, so there we go. So it's kind of attached there. Now I'm going to grab my sewing machine over here. Make sure we're in camera. Yep. Okay, so I am going to start with this. We're going to do a zigzag stitch. Just going to do zigzag. It's not going to show that much anyway. And then I'm going to kind of line it up with the edge of the envelope. And if you can kind of feel the edge of the envelope here, or you can put your finger down lower here and feel the envelope. And you want to kind of just go on the edge of the envelope. Again, doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to try not to go off the envelope. You know, you want to try and stay on the envelope. So I just got my finger there, and I'm just... Now, people always ask me what envelope or what needle I'm using. I use a number 16, and I think it says on the package for heavier fabrics or something like that. And you guys, I am the worst sewing machine mother that there ever was. But like I don't change my needle hardly ever. That was a whole bunch of double negatives there, but I really don't. I I change it if it breaks usually, or if it just is not gonna sew, I'll change it out. But this needle's been going for a long time, and I don't know if I just have good luck with needles or what, but I haven't had any trouble. So, but yeah, so, and thread, I use all-purpose thread. Nothing fancy. Gosh, I was at the quilt store with my friends at the retreat, and I was looking at some of the thread that they use. My gosh. Okay, so here's the thing, all my junk journal friends. If you feel at all bad about your store of supplies or the cost of doing your hobby of junk journaling, all you need to do is hang out with some quilters. I'll tell you what. Oh my gosh, that's an expensive hobby. Woo! I mean, the kits of the fabric and stuff, so expensive. And then once you get the quilt top made, to have somebody quilt it on a long arm is super expensive. And so, you know, it's nothing to have like $500 into a quilt. So I just felt a whole lot better after hanging out with my quilting friends. It's like, okay, I know I've got a lot of paper and I've got a lot of stuff, but a lot of my stuff comes from thrift stores. So, oh, yeah, so I hope I'm not offending any quilters at all, but I just was blown away at the cost of, and really of the storage issue kind of as they were talking about having, you know, their unfinished projects and storing them and stuff. And I'm like, I'm glad I work with paper. It's just a little more forgiving in terms of space and cost and everything. So yeah, so it was that was eye-opening. I had no idea. So yeah, my grandmother was a quilter, and I gave it a whirl, but it's I think it's too precise for me, and also I don't have the patience. I maybe could make table runners, but a queen size quilt, I don't think so. I think my little junk journal obsession works well for me. So okay, so I've got a few little ripples here that I'm just kind of trying to smooth out a little bit. Okay, so we have sewn around, so that is awesome. And I am going to just move my sewing machine because we're done with that. Okay, so now I'm going to cut a little closer to the envelope. Can you see how the envelope's right there? I'm just gonna cut this a little closer. And then I will show you what else we're going to do to kind of finish off the edges in a rough sort of way. I mean, I want this to be shabby and chic. Shabby and chic all at the same time. Okay, now you see, if I can get this up to the camera, now you see it's close. It covers the envelope, but it's closer to it. So that's what we're looking for. So I'm going to do that all the way around. And these I'll save. These will be fun little like ties on the top of tags or something. So we'll save those too. That was the other thing that was kind of fun at the retreat, because they were quilters. They'd have scraps, and they're like, Gail, do you want these scraps? I'm just going to throw them away. I'm like, yes, I do want them. So I got some good scraps for like making fabric ruffles on the sides of pages or things like that. So that was kind of fun. Okay, it's shaping up. This is kind of funky. Let's just cut that a little more straight. And this side, kind of eyeball where the just kind of trimming it up, neatening it up a little bit. On this side, it's a little easier to see if it's nice and square. So, okay. So now that we've done that, I am going to go around. Let me get rid of my scissors. I am going to go around the edges, and I'm just going to use some Fabri-Tac around the edges, just to really glue the quilt to the envelope. And actually, I'm going over a little bit. I don't know if you'll be able to see with my hand in the way, but I'm going onto the fabric on the bottom a little bit too. And I'm just going to go around the whole thing doing that. And that is just going to make the edge stick and be a little more sturdy. So, oops, I better get a little something to get that extra glue. Okay. Yeah, so it neatens it up in terms of how it looks, but it also gives it some extra strength, which I really like. Now, on some of my covers, and you've seen me do this, I will go ahead and put trim around the edge. That looks nice too, and is a fun thing to do too. But on this particular one, I just decided that I wanted the edges to be a little more rough. And so this is how I manage the edges when I do it this way. And as always, not the only way to do it, it's just the Gail way. Okay. Nice. Can you tell I'm obsessive about my little glass craft mat? Just trying to keep it clean all the time. Okay, and then one of the ways you can close these is with a snippet trim. Now, I decided I was going to use the crocheted doily on the cover, so I won't do that on the one that I'm making for the design team project, but that's one thing you can do is attach a snippet trim and go around, and you've seen me do that on some of my journals. Okay, I'm looking at this, and there's a few pieces of fabric here that are I think I'm just gonna give them a little Fabri-Tac, mostly so I don't mind that they're frayed, but so they don't fray a whole bunch more. Just gonna stick those down. Give it a little. Now, now something you could do is add some fun lace to this, or there's lots of things you could do, but there's our basic cover. So the inside is this awesome coffee dye. I'm going to trim this up a skosh. I just noticed that the quilt was hanging out a little bit from the coffee dyed paper. So the coffee dyed paper on the inside, old quilt on the outside. Give it a fold, and there you've got your cover. There it is. And it's just, I mean, it's pretty in its simplicity, I think. I just love the old quilts, and the feel is so nice too. Sorry, you guys, I've got little bits stuck to me. Yeah, so there you have it. There is our cover. So this one will be for another journal, but now we have I have the one that I made. I've got lots of little great snippets to use here and there, and yeah, we're all set. So there is the cover. I think our next episode on this design team journal will be our signatures. So thanks everybody so much for watching, and we will just see you next time. Take care everybody. Bye bye.